So today we will continue talking about health, and we will go over Ayurveda based, and then in next session we will talk about some of the ways that we can look into, like from examples like solutions or how to measure and how we can work on any situation that individual may have. So we'll recap. We'll quickly go over the previous session we had on this, so that if someone is joining this week who missed last week, you will be able to recap, and then we'll get into Ayurveda, and then next week we will conclude this topic. So I will share my screen. One second, I'm not. Okay. Okay. So we are talking about health. Health can be explained in many different ways. Different people may have different perspective when we talk about health. So if we think with respect to WHO, the original, or you can say the very old definition, which they started with in 1948, it was a clarification that health is not just that you are like absence of disease or any kind of issue. It's a state of complete, you can say, the physical, mental, social well-being, all three. So it's not just that, okay, I don't have any disease means I'm healthy. And that definition was further revised in 86 when they started talking about in terms of that how it has also a factor of, you know, your living day-to-day life, doing what you want to do, and physical capacities and things like those. So what it means is it's a resource. Health is a resource for you to do your, you know, day-to-day and individual functions, rather than an end in itself. So when we look this way, you look health like as holistic view, and not just from disease perspective. Now, when we look at health, we can look at from different perspectives. And there is no right or wrong, but yes, if we talk in terms of key elements or pillars, you can talk about the recovery through sleep, which is our daily routine, the nutrition, what we eat, the physical activity, and the connection. Four major factors which impacts our health. Now, sleep is one of the most underrated tools, because this is something, especially in today's world, we keep saying, oh, we are busy. So then first thing we cut down is the sleep hours. We think that if we work more, longer, then we can do more stuff, or we can do more activity, whether it is work, business, sports, whatever that may be. Now, as far as the diet or nutrition is concerned, we think science has advanced, but with genetically modified food, with all kind of processed food, nutrition become a key element to our health. It's very difficult nowadays to separate what is healthy and what is not. Sometimes you are eating something and you don't know what are the ingredients. You may have some idea, but maybe partial. And, you know, when we talk of the example that when you go for a sports car, then it is expected that you will fill the high octane, the high, or you can say the better quality gas in it. Of course, if you are talking about the planes, then obviously that's even better quality of gas that you will fill. Why? Because the performance is supposed to be at higher level. So similarly, nutrition is to our body. The kind of food we eat is the kind of results we get from our body in terms of health. Physical activity is something that nowadays most of us do, kind of just office jobs or just sitting, or we are commuting most of the time. So there is a big amount of time that we are idle or in case just sitting. Lack of physical activity at all ages, not just for adults, but even for kids. And that makes a big difference. And connection is where the loneliness comes into. Connection is between, person to person, human to human, that kind of thing. Nowadays, you may have, in the social media, you may have thousands of friends, what you call as friends, but in real life, you may have very few. People rely on emojis rather than, writing there or expressing the emotions. And this loss of connectivity, human to human, is impacting our health because it is connected to our mental and emotional health. Sometimes we don't realize, but the impact is huge. So first, if we look into physical health, now, physical health is not just, physical. It is, of course, you have the strength, the flexibility, the endurance, and all those things included. So your focus is that can you live comfortably to do the things that you want? And as we were talking, it involves a lot of multiple things. Your physical health may depend on the amount of activity, your nutrition means the diet and all that factor, use, misuse, like for example, alcohol or drugs, or medical self-care, addressing whether it's minor ailment or injuries or different things, and rest and sleep where your rejuvenation, your recovery takes place. Now that may be just purely physical side, physical body, and then we can say, okay, this is just if we are talking in terms of physical, but then there is the mental health. Mental health, this is where the emotional side, the social side, and the psychological well-being comes into play. Now, mental health is as important, if not more important than physical health, because actually your physical health also depends on your mental health. Now, lifestyle is a big part of it. Now, mental health is a little difficult to talk about, to judge, to analyze. And the reason is that physically you can check, you can talk about, there are factors, parameters, which are relatively simpler than when we talk about psychological diagnosis. Not easy for everybody to understand. Different people may have different perception to it. So the understanding and appreciation may be different, whereas physical is generally easy. If someone says, you have a problem, whether it's muscle pain, whether it's something happened to the bone or things like those, where physically you can feel and you can talk about it, people can relate. But psychological, sometimes it's not easy to relate to. Some people are not even aware of it. So mental health, when we are talking about, it is the ability to process information. That is the key thing. Now, remember, in the previous, when we talk about quantum physics, we said neurons is not just present in our brain. Neurons are there in your heart and in other parts of the body. When we talk about chakras, energy centers has ability to process information. And that is where the thinking element is connected. Because when we are talking about mental health, the key factor is thinking part, your ability to think clearly, and then you make decisions accordingly. If your thinking is compromised, obviously your decision making is compromised. How you deal with stress, how you manage emotions is also related to it. Especially nowadays, in today's life. If, you know, a person who has a lot of stress will have a lot of issues, you will not be enjoying your life as much. You will not be able to bounce back after going through any rough, patches, or day to day, you have ups and downs in your life. So how do we adapt to different situation? Depends on your stress level. When you're high on stress, then you cannot, or you will have great difficulty. Whether you can achieve your full potential or not depends again on your stress level. So people may have, all the time some kind of sadness in it. They lost interest, mood swings. They feel some kind of, always worried, fear, or they're confused. They cannot think properly. They may be in a group setting. They may be, in a party, but still they feel lonely. So this low energy, lack of kind of connectivity, this is all indicating towards mental health issues. Now, when we talk about emotional health, there is a subtle difference. Generally, people combine mental and emotional, but there is a difference. When we are talking about emotional health, is the ability of a person to cope up and manage your emotions. Emotion are directly linked with your relationship. When we talk about interpersonal and all kind of relationship, you will see how person is able to manage the emotion is indicative of how the person will be having different relationship, whether at work, at home, neighbors. So the key difference here is thinking versus expressing. When we talked about mental health, we were talking about thinking element. When we are talking about emotional health, the key element is, are you able to express your emotion or not? If you're not able to express, that means you are withholding your emotions. If you are withholding your emotions, that means it's all going in, nothing is coming out. That means it will be stuck somewhere in your body. Depending on the emotion, it will be stuck in a particular organ. And these hormones or different chemicals that body is producing based on the emotion get stuck, and over time it causes issues, the health issues in that particular part or organ. And then we say, oh, this person has a heart issue or kidney or liver, but actually it started with the stuck emotion. Now it has gone to the physical level, but it started with emotion. So when we talk of depression, anxiety, all this kind of issues which is related to a grief or loss of a family member or any loved ones, any sudden change, something in your life can give you a shock. Sometimes, it could be as simple as, new parent, all of a sudden you feel your freedom is restricted or responsibility has increased, or your, day-to-day activities, what you used to do has changed. Some people, they cannot accept or take it. They don't share or express their emotion, and see a positive thing can give you a negative result, which is some kind of health issue because of the stuck emotions. And all of a sudden you may find there is some, eating disorder or sleeping disorder. You may be just pulling away from friends and family, means you don't enjoy in any gathering or party, and all kind of, always feeling low on energy. The body may ache here and there, no reason. You cannot pinpoint that why you are feeling such. Always, not only low of energy, but because your loneliness, you're, getting the feeling of helplessness, hopelessness, means basically no interest in anything that is happening around you. So it's very important that one should have the ability to talk, ability to express. Sometimes, we say it's okay to say no. It's not that every time you have to say yes. We are already stressed, you're overworked, and someone comes and say, hey, can you do this for me? And you say yes, because you cannot say no. Now you're getting overworked. It could be at home, work, anywhere. And because you're not expressing, you're generating frustration within. And then there is a snowball effect, means it will just grow bigger, bigger, and bigger. If you are not content with what you have, you're always thinking about what you do not have. And then comes the emotional factor along with it. You should always have good support system. Friends and family, we always say, sometimes we feel, oh, I'm young, I can take care of myself, but still you need people. We are social animal. We may work long hours, we don't really know how to relax sometimes. And we are just stuck in work, work, work. Not able to relax really hurt us big time, and we don't realize. So bringing all that, now we come to spiritual health. So certainly physical is important, mental, we saw the difference between mental and emotional. Comes to spiritual health. Now spiritual health, it actually is like a big umbrella. It's connected to your purpose of life. It's connected to different dimensions, the capacity of human being. That means not just what our day-to-day activity, there are unexplored dimensions that one can experience only when we get through, this first come under wisdom of spirituality. We understand these topics, we follow, we explore the powers within. By this, we are creating a balance between your physical, physiological, or the social element. As we said, we are social animal. And we have different personality traits. Different people may be different. But we need to be in between humans. You cannot just stay alone. So spiritual health is a combination. And especially when we are talking about the experience of the divine and wholeness. Now, the question comes, what is divinity? Sometimes we say, what is whole, or how do we experience? Those details comes when we come in contact. But the more you get into this, the more satisfied you are. The more you do, the more connected you feel. And to improve that, whatever faith or belief you may have, connect with it. When we volunteer, when we help others, without worrying about getting paid, that's volunteering. Whether you are helping a society or any organization building a park, whether you are helping them, raising some funds, or sharing your wisdom, or sharing your just time, whatever you may be doing, volunteering improves your spiritual health. You may do yoga or meditation, different breathing techniques, just even slow breathing makes a huge difference. We always say, go and walk in nature. Panchbhutas. In today's lifestyle, we are away. We don't come in contact with like the way we used to before with earth, the grounding effect, because you're always wearing shoes. We are hardly ever walking with bare feet. Mostly we are inside building, house, workplace, wherever. You're not under the sun, under the sky, no fresh air. And all this change in lifestyle is impacting. So once you get back to your, what we say, true nature, you will see your spiritual health improving. So we should spend time in nature. One should always have hobbies. Hobbies is different than just sitting, watching TV, listening to music and all. Hobby really rejuvenate you, energizes you. The more and more selflessness you have, you do what you do and you fulfill, you will see it's like, recharging the battery. So it is not just the physical dimensional. It is a complete package when we are talking about spiritual wellness. The physical, the emotional, mental, social, all of it. So this gives you a complete big picture. And that's why if we talk about health, and if you look into spiritual health from a spiritual perspective, one can take care of oneself really very well. So now you're not looking into just one side of it, one element of it. You are looking as a complete picture. Because now you are close to your purpose of life. You know why you exist. What is it that really makes you happy? And once you do what you think is your purpose, you get the meaning of life. Even if you have challenges in your life, you will be happy. And that's a big difference. So spiritual health is like a glue. It's putting everything together for you. And when we say, we're talking about spirituality or spiritual, this word itself is coming from Latin word, which means breath or life. And you know now how it is connected to meditation or pranayama, which is all about breath or prana, life. So when we are talking about spiritual health, we are talking about wholeness. So health is a holistic thing where there was one separation. So if opposite of separation, bringing everything together, that is spiritual health. Health is oneness. We all time to time feel the distinction. Oh, this is yours, that is mine. Or, my work, your work, all that kind of distinction which we create as human. But the nature has taught us only one thing, oneness. Universe wants to bring energies together, people together, the different form of life together. It is us who create this distinction and create separation. Health is aliveness when there was once death, because we think death means end of it. And then there is a fear and this, whereas aliveness is whatever time you are here, doesn't matter how long you live, but you should live your life fully. And without this feeling of oneness, without this awareness and then following up of it, there is no life. Doesn't matter what you think you are, you may be doing great personally or professionally, but if you are alone, you are lonely. That's not life. So from one side, we saw a different ways we can define health, different way of looking at it. Let's go back to Ayurveda and let's revise the 6 stages of illness, which is so well defined in Ayurveda. Now, this is going thousands of years back. This is not something just defined. It's only a couple of 100 years old. Whereas Ayurveda, which is, you can say, the alternate medicine, it goes thousands of years old. They understood the whole human organism, that how we function. And we think only the modern science understood it in the last couple of 100, but actually the sages, great masters, thousands of years old. How come? And not only just Ayurveda means just in Indian context, even Chinese, Egyptian, and the native Indians, you will hear or read about that, how much they understood how our body functions, which is remarkable. So one of the principles in Ayurveda is connected with the process of illness development. That first of all, how does it start? Where is the link between the mind, the energy, and all this kind of illness that is developing? If we understand this whole cycle, then we can understand health better. Now the question is, why do we talk of illness? Because we are saying health. Health is not absence of illness. Correct. But the issue is, in today's world, most of the people come into spirituality when they have one or the other issue in their life. So what we need is to promote this wisdom. We need to, somehow get to the youth that when you are healthy, you understand what it is. And then you go back to the spiritual health, because you have understood, suppose you understand these 6 stages, how does it work, what happens, so you can avoid. And that becomes now a part of spiritual health, because now you are using this wisdom to avoid and not curing once it has happened. And that's the key difference. But you need to understand the cycle. And let's start from the very start. When we talk about illness or any kind of issue, we are talking about the human body. Human body, let's understand, we say whether, is the digestive system, you eat, and then energy is transported. Different chemicals, hormones are transported by what? By blood. It is released in the blood. Blood takes it to different parts of the body. And we think this is the most effective way of transportation, whether energy or whatever chemicals happening in our body. But actually, this is the slowest mechanism. Of course, we rely on this. A lot is done by this system. When we talk of the blood and all the lymph, right? It's going in the, where even veins doesn't go, that's where you have lymph fluid. But this is actually the slowest. So we can say, okay, it is fast. But when we talk of nervous system, and nervous does not mean brain only, because we have neurons, as we talked about the heart and, different energy centers. So then it is representing not the mechanical, but the electrical system. If blood was mechanical, and we say, okay, that system was fast, the nervous system is faster. That means it is much faster than the mechanical system, because it's based on electrical energy. Signals are going from brain to different part of the body organ. It's electrical signal, so it's much faster than mechanical. Blood will take time to flow. Electricity comes much faster. But nerves do not go to each and every cell of our body. So how each and every cell in our body is getting communication? And this is where we are talking superconductivity property, or we are talking about this connectivity tissue or connective tissue. Skin is one organ. biggest organ you can think of because it's all over the body. And this superconductivity property is what is related to electromagnetism, which is much faster than electricity. Another example we can think of, the old locomotives, the diesel locomotives. If you go, especially not the steam one, no longer there, but the diesel ones are still running even here in Western countries. So that is like blood, mechanical kind of thing, right? But if you see the electrical engine, electrical locomotive, you will see this train is traveling faster because it has electrical engine, it has more power. But when you look into the high-speed trains, which is kind of the fastest train around, they're not even running on the track. They are, a little bit above the track. And that's how no friction, and they run much faster. Of course, when they come to a halt, they will rest on the track. But as they start moving, it's kind of lifted by, again, we are talking about electromagnetism. And that's how they travel that fast. So you see the fast, faster, faster. Similarly, in our body, you have all three mechanisms, but the fastest one, the superconductivity, which goes through this, our skin, electromagnetism. So these three mechanisms, if we understand, then let's get back to our 6 regions. And these 6 factors or regions are covered under 3 levels. So what are those 3 levels? In the reverse order, it is physiological, means physical, you can say the body. Then comes the energy level. And then comes the mental level. So mental level is the fastest, energy level comes next, and physical body is the third one. So let's look at it again in the reverse order. So 6. Out of 6 stages of illness, number 6, last one is you have an illness. You already got it, which is acute illness. So if you do not treat acute illness, suppose you have diarrhea, it's acute, you have something, generally what we do, we run to a doctor, take medicine. Or cold, we try to take medicine. We try to stop it. What are we doing? You are actually doing more harm than good. The body says something is wrong. Diarrhea means it's trying to get rid of the toxins out of the body as soon as possible. And we are taking allopathic solution so that this condition is blocked. That means the toxins will not go out of the body. It will stay inside. Now the problem will become bigger. If we do not take care of acute problem, over time, it can become chronic issue. Chronic means now you live with it. So acute illness means in physical body, you have some illness. You can say sugar, diabetic, or arthritis, whatever, because it was acute, but now it has become chronic. So even if it is acute level, that is number 6, means you already have it. So what is one step before actually getting illness? And that is number 5, symptoms. That means the body is giving you symptoms. But either we don't understand it, we neglect it, and we do nothing. Or we do not enough, either of it, which results into illness. Think about it. Body is telling you something is wrong, and we do nothing. Why? What is the most common factor? Because if most of the people do nothing. And here we are saying body is giving you indications and we do nothing. Not that, okay, I never realized, in the sense, no knowledge. Because if you don't know what it could be, that's a different case. You know what it is, but you are neglecting it. Most common factor is, oh, I'm busy. I'll see it tomorrow, or next week. Or I'm so busy that I cannot listen to my own body. Body is telling me, but I'm so busy. I'm trying to do more work than physically possible, or based on my capacity or whatever. That means I'm neglecting the indications given by my body. Why? Because I'm busy. Whether you today take a student, a youth, or somebody who has just completed university and joined the workforce, initial stages of your career or later in the career. Every time we say, oh, I'm very busy. So that is what we have to keep it in mind. Don't worry about going directly to the symptoms and all. Work on this busy factor that we have created for ourselves. Now, you're getting symptoms. That means something is already cooking inside the body. That's why you're getting symptoms. Whether some ache, whether some pain, or some other allergy, something, the body is telling you something is wrong. So what is a step before that? Your body has toxins. That's why it is giving you some hints. It's knocking the door. That take care of it. Now we are getting into energy level. So from physical, now we have gone to energy level. Energy level means you cannot see it. You have toxins. You're not fully aware of it yet. This is the stage. The awareness is missing. Of course, there are different ways to avoid accumulation of toxins, the detoxing, the fasting, different kriyas. But most of us, we don't do it. We are not aware of it. Whether it's Jalneti, Sutraneti, Kunjal, Anima, many different ways you can clean your whole GI tract. So different kriyas are there for this purpose, but we do nothing because we may not be aware of it, or we may not be, again, I am busy, I don't have time to do this. And we neglect. So result is accumulation of toxins. Now, why my body is not able to get rid of toxins? Because body is made for all this. So another step back within the energy level is metabolism. Metabolism means some imbalance in your energy flow. We say Ida, Pingla. Of course, you have Sushumna, but this is the imbalance between Ida and Pingla. You have 36,000 nadis left and 36 right, the Ida and the Pinglas. And any imbalance will cause some abnormality in working of your organs, the systems. And when you have some disbalance, imbalance, disturbance, any issue means now it is not, the body is not working at optimum level. When the body is not working optimum level, it may not be able to process those toxins or throw those toxins out, or the normal mechanism may not work with full efficiency. And you don't know what you don't know. First of all, measuring energy is not easy. We don't know how to listen to our body. The body talks to us, but again, I'm busy. So we disconnect that communication channel between us and the body. So why do we have imbalanced energy flow in our body? Let's go one more level back, even beyond the energy level. Now we are coming into the mental level. So the second out of 6 is your lifestyle. So the metabolism is going haywire because of your lifestyle. First factor is What do you think about yourself? You have high self-esteem, self-respect, confidence, or you have low. If you are putting yourself down, forget about others. If you are treating others well, you are treating yourself well, that's one scenario. But the opposite of that, when you don't treat yourself well or others well, now you're creating negativity. Negativity about yourself or others doesn't matter. Negativity is impacting the energy flow in your body. When we are disconnected with Panch Bhuta, when we are not taking care, that go out in nature, walk bare feet, on the grass, all those things, be in touch. When it's raining, go out, enjoy the rain, or go to the beach with water or river, whatever. Spend some time under the sky. We don't do all that, then we are creating disbalance. We are creating a problem with the way the nature has built us and what we are doing to ourselves. We are not taking care of the nutrition or the diet element. And diet does not mean just what you are eating or what you are not eating, not that alone. It is key, it is important. Also, it is important that how much you are eating, how frequently you are eating. Are you just gulping? Are you drinking water right after or along with your food? All those things matter. And nowadays, worse even, you are eating and doing something else in the name of multitasking. You're maybe watching TV or reading something. That's a lifestyle problem. Some people may be doing, some may not be doing any exercise at all. Some may walk, some may go to gym. So different people may have different situation, but no physical activity is a big problem in today's lifestyle. So what happens if you have any one of this? If, we say live in the moment. Why we say that? Because it impacts your energy. Your thoughts should be, you can say, focus on one thing. If I'm walking, enjoy the walk. If I'm eating, enjoy the food. If I'm cooking, I should be focused on cooking. But when I'm eating and watching something, I'm nowhere, neither here nor there. Digestion starts not when it reaches your stomach or intestine, right in your mouth, as you are picking the food with your hand. As you are about to start eating and you pray, just a little gratitude before you start your even eating the food. That gratitude to the universe that you have food and you're thanking for it changes the energy in the food. The person who cooked the food, is that person angry, upset about something and cooking out of frustration? Or the person is, enjoying kind of singing or, being gratitude, full of positive energy that, okay, the person is making food for the family and cooking good food or favorite food, whatever that may be. All that positivity will change the taste of the food, will change the energy of the food big time. So you may be saying, okay, this is also eating, this is also eating. The difference is who cooked, with what emotions the person cooked. It makes a big difference in the energy level. Now, especially the students, we say, oh, I will, study late in the night. It's very peaceful at that time. And we disturb the normal clock, our body clock, circadian rhythm, whatever way we understand it. Early morning, when it is time for liver to detox, for lungs to detox, 5 to 7, it's time for intestine to get rid of the toxins, push the waste out of the body. So if you disturb your sleep time and you say, no, I'm working, I will sleep at 2 o'clock and get up at 10 o'clock. You are disturbing these organs, their functioning. The normal universe has set up certain hours for certain organs to get maximum energy. And now you're disturbed. When you were supposed to sleep and wake up, now you are sleeping late, waking up late. So when it was time for breakfast and stomach to start working, you are still sleeping. When it was time for lungs and liver to detox, you just went to bed. So it won't go to liver. It has some rhythm to follow. So we disturb by disturbing what nature has set. And number one, before lifestyle comes thoughts. This is number one, means it makes or breaks. It goes on 24/7. You know, your thoughts will be negative or positive. It decides your personality, or based on your personality, so one way or the other. Somebody said something to me 10 years ago and I'm still upset. The moment I see the person, I'm full of anger. What will happen to that person? Nobody knows. But certainly, if I'm keeping that anger in me, I'm hurting myself, I'm killing myself, because that thought is sitting there. I may not see the person every day, but that thought, that emotion, that linkage, the neuron network is in my body 24/7. Pure negative energy. A lot of such negative energy creates your personality becomes negative. And negative personality or negative energy is not beneficial to you. Yes, we talked about the emotional part, physiological, all the psychological issues, the mental issues, all related to your thoughts. So your whole well-being is heavily dependent on your thoughts. We don't know how to handle our thoughts. We don't know how to manage your stress. We don't know how to release, like expressing your emotions. So these negative thoughts bundle up, snowball effect, becomes bigger and bigger and bigger over time, and creates more and more problem for us. And that's why we say, do, if nothing else, at least slow breathing or deep breathing. Do pranayama. If you can, do meditation. 4 pillars: affirmation, visualize, forgiveness, gratitude. This can help you tremendously to fix your thought process. Create positive energy, and then you take care of the number one factor for your health. So it directly impacts your mental health, your emotional health, and obviously along with those two, they are physical. So you see, when we are talking about just randomly, how do we define health? Is it mental issue, emotional issue, physical issue? That doesn't matter. It is an issue. And really the number one factor impacting all this thing is your thought, then lifestyle. If we can take care of these two, you will not have any issue. The imbalance in energy, your metabolism will be good. There won't be any left or right side of the body disbalance and creating those toxins accumulation, because body cannot process them. And if body can take care of the systems releasing of toxins, then there is no accumulation. There is no accumulation, then there is no symptom. If there is no symptom, there is no disease, and you will be healthy. So you see, you start from the root cause, you will fix everything later on. So start from your thoughts and your lifestyle. Everything else will be taken care of. If you just think I have to improve my physical health and I'll go to gym and I'll do this, yes, it will take care of the physical activity element of it, but that's it. From a big pie, it is just a very small section of it. But if you think from these 6 stages and you understand number 1 and 2 and you take care of it, you will take care of it as a whole. It will take you towards spirituality, the wisdom. You will be a calm, very soothing personality, very good interpersonal skills, understands other, believing in oneness, rather than being a lonely person, always upset, always anxiety and kinds of issues, mood swings, all those things will disappear. So masters, next session and next week, we will see some ways that we can identify, we can work on our energy level. How do we know what can we do, what is in our hand, which is like preventive and not working only when something has shown up. So we'll discuss about those, but this is something that keep it in mind, not just the way we describe health, but why thoughts and lifestyle is so important, which can really take care of these two, others will just follow. So masters, if you have any questions or you want to share your experience, please feel free. So Ashokji, back to you.
Yeah, many masters, if you have any questions, please raise your hand. I can unmute yourself, or you can unmute yourself so you can ask a question.
Namaskar, Parmeshwaran sir.
Namaste. Since nobody has raised the hand, today is one of the important days. How many of you remember? I don't know. We celebrate various days, Wives' Day, Husband's Day, Mother's Day. Today is a day in India, Youth Day. And I have to remind this to the youth, as the youngest person in this group probably. See, why it is, now whatever we talked about has been explained 160 years back who was born. That is none other than Swami Vivekananda, 1863. And why he is famous and why it is known as Youth Day, some of you may be knowing, because he was always having trust in the youth only, and courage and lifestyle. You create your reality. That was his slogan, and many things what he has taught today. All the more important that we have to remember what Poliwal sir was talking about, lifestyle. All this he has taught us, particularly to the youth, but unfortunately forgotten. So I just want to remind people to go back and just have a glimpse of what he taught and pass it on to the younger generation. Of course, before that, we have to implement in our own lives at least 10%. Then you can see change in our life. That's all I wish to say. Courage. He says, you are not a lamb. You would have heard the story, what he said. You are not a lamb. You are a lion. Roar like a lion. A lion gave birth to a child and a baby, and it died. At that time, there were so many lambs were there. So the lion child was brought up by the lamb. It was grown like that, and it was living like a lamb, and it never knew how to roar. And after some time, it was grown up big lion. And among the sheep, it was going. And once a lion came, big lion, and saw this. What is this going with these lambs? And it doesn't even roar. Then when it was sleeping that night, it went to that and woke up and told, see, you are not a lamb, you are a lion. I will show you. Took it to the water and look at the water. See who you are. You are living with lamb. You have to roar like lion, not cry like a lamb. So this is the reality in our life too. We don't know our own potential, our inner potential. So all whatever we are talking and passing on is to understand that, to go in courage and changing the lifestyle a little bit definitely will be helpful. And another thing is discipline, what he talked about. It's the simplest thing. Some may not like if I say this. I used to tell this earlier sessions also. So we know the timing when we are starting. Can we not just join 1 minute before? In school, we used to say first bell and second bell. My days, I don't know now. First bell is, yeah, ready, run. So before the second bell, we should be in the seat. If you don't give this little discipline, how will we teach our children discipline? Do this. How will they do? We have to live by example. And respect to the other person, whoever it is, whether it is Gaurav Paliwal or anybody. I want to give Gaurava to everybody. That attitude should come. So the lifestyle, when you are talking about this little thing counts. Like this, today being the Day of Youth, even in US or World Youth Year was celebrated in 1985, I think. Pope and others, they have discussed, and the Youth Year was celebrated. I think they have forgotten after that. I think, I don't know, but there is no World Youth Day. I wish by next year, this National Youth Day becomes World Youth Day, like Yoga Day. And the message is gone. Why Vivekananda again? The first word, what he talked in Parliament of Religion, the first what he said, my dear brothers and sisters, that what you talked about oneness and youthfulness, unity. So like that, I don't want to take more time, but I just want to give the little message. Please remember Swami Vivekananda and imbibe the qualities little bit, you see. We can definitely live a better, wonderful life. Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you, Parmesh.
There is a question from the Jaji about Kriyas. So Kriyas, I mean, the basic Kriya that I would suggest anyone can do. It's not difficult, it's simple, and it can really help you in cleansing your complete GI tract. So if one can do Jalneti, Kunjal, Enema, these three, right from starting from your nose with Jalneti, Kunjal will be for stomach, and Enema for your intestine. And then you will have a healthy life, because if your GI tract is clean, if your intestine is clean, your 70–80% issues are already avoided. No side effect, no negative. Yeah, learn properly once a month, or depending on the situation and your other factor. And that will keep you very healthy. And these are very simple things. Don't need spend too much time in learning or doing it on regular basis. And then doesn't matter summer, winter, spring, fall, whatever the season, and you will have your air passage always helping you with no issues in cold, cough and all. Your stomach, there will be no acid reflux, there will be no health issue from your digestive system side. So just if we focus only on these three, could be a great help to everyone.
Thank you, Gaurav sir. Thank you for continuing to enlighten us on our health, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. I was listening and watching all your slides, very informative, thank you. And one question I had, I've been following the past, I'm not, half knowledge is dangerous, I'm in that path. So I'm just learning about this Ayurvedic clock. And what I was told is like, you have like the Vata Pitta in the Vata period in the morning, then Pitta in the afternoon, and you should help me. Vata Pitta and So Kapha is morning, Pitta is afternoon, and Vata is in the evening. That's what I was told. So I saw your picture. You had one graph there about like morning you should exercise, eat, whatever, right? But they were saying in the morning is the time when, because Kapha is there, you should wait to eat till like from 10, closer to 10 o'clock, because then I think pitta is acidity, right? So it helps your food, the process in digestion and everything. And is kapha like the water element or air? I mean, you have to help me understand a little bit more about that. So should we follow that? I've been trying to read up on that.
Right. So see what happens with this when we look into this. Every person may have one or two dominant factor.
Mhm.
So someone may have kapha, someone may have pitta, or so the variation will vary for person to person.
Mhm.
So the impact will also vary, depends on which factor is dominant.
Okay.
So yes, if you are going through some, say, naturopath or Ayurvedic doctor, and that person based on your need is specifying something, then that's one factor. But if you go the generalized thing, then I would say just go with the in general diet wise and not worrying about this. But if you have, suppose, one element high and because of that you are eating late or eating early, that's a different story.
Okay.
So that will be based on vata, pitta, kapha. But
So not just our body, but nature also has this, right? That's what they were saying. That
yes.
the kapha. So that's why I was wondering if we should follow because of the nature.
So what happens is, that's why generally one may observe that early morning people will have cough, who have lung issue. They will have that, the 3 to 4 a.m. that time, because that is the time when the energy is high in the lungs, in the respiratory system. That's why generally you will see people coughing at that time.
Okay.
So those things do happen based on that clock. Now, rest for the diet plan. Again, if you are doing specific to your body based on your nadi, your analysis, then that's a different thing. But otherwise, nowadays, I know some people, they go for intermittent fasting. So they want, 16 hours or so, all kind of, you can say the different options are there, and depends what you believe or not, people may do. But one thing, which is for sure in general is, when we say, don't sleep right after eating, right? So those kind of things, which is very general, doesn't matter which factor you may have, dominant vata, pitta, kapha, or when you get up in the morning, that is the time for you to cleanse, to do your, whether any kind of asana, pranayama, meditation, and all that's for the morning time. So if you do that empty stomach and then eat, then I can say, yes, this general guideline may help everyone, doesn't matter what the combination is.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, looking forward for next session. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Is there any other question, masters, before we go for meditation? Okay. So I think we can start